Welcome to the Pinch to Zoom podcast. I'm Stetson.
And I'm Gabe.
And we're going to be talking tech, going over some of our predictions, talking a little bit about Black Friday, some of the best deals this year, some of the biggest tech wins and tech fails, and anything else that piques our interest.
Yeah, and piques our mics because they're technology too. So
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I guess, shout out to the microphones. We're using the Rode NT1s for this podcast.
Yeah, we just got them in, and if you don't hear us using them in the next episode, then obviously they weren't very good. But so far, they sound pretty crispy.
They sound incredible.
Yeah. So let's just get started. This is the first episode. I mean, it's kind of a big deal, right?
It's a huge deal. This is the start of something new. This is paving the way for 2019.
Yeah, technically it's 2018 right now, but we're releasing this in 2019. So,
welcome to the new year.
Yeah, as we're got one more year to go till 2020, and
that'll be a big one. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, you see all these initiatives from companies that are like 2020.
Yeah,
because it just works with eyesight.
So then we'll see all the delays and pushback now.
What happens down the road when they don't have a 2020 to push to?
Yeah, Gabe, I think we should do a little bit of an introduction about ourselves.
I don't know. I kind of want to keep getting sidetracked and just never get to what we've written out as our outline, but I guess we probably should.
Okay, so I'm Stetson. I'm currently a communication management and design major at Ithaca College. I have my own YouTube channel, youtube.com/StetsonDoggit. I make videos talking about cell phone plans, technology reviews, phones, hoping to grow and expand. If you have a cell phone, which you likely do, consider checking it out and how you can save money on cell service, which can add up to a few $100 over the course of just a few years.
Yeah, I definitely, I know a lot less than you do for cell phone and cell phone plans. Even though I am working at Best Buy in the mobile department now, I still feel like you could go in there and school anyone in, especially like off non like major network brands, like AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, T-Mobile.
See, everyone knows those, but
Yeah.
like Cricket, Mint Mobile, Metro PCS, Metro by T-Mobile now, they rebranded.
Sorry, yeah.
Tello, Ting, Twigby, like there's so many I can go through.
Yeah, what do they call those?
So those are called MVNOs.
Yeah.
They use the same networks for coverage as the big four. They just offer typically reduced rates. Sometimes their features are a little different. And sometimes they don't get partner coverage in some areas, like when I go skiing in Vermont. T-Mobile will switch to AT&T. That may or may not happen, depending on where you are.
Yeah. So that's just a little snippet and a little peek into what you'll see on Stetson's channel. You might have come from there, but you also might have come from my channel, or from, if this podcast get really, like, it's really popular, maybe just your friend shared it with you. But anyways, I'm Gabe. I also I'm graduated from college now, technically. I got a couple more credits to finish up. We won't talk about that. And I also run a YouTube channel. We won't talk about who has more subscribers than the other, Stetson or I. But yeah, he has a couple hundred more right now. He's doing good. And my channel focuses more on creative tech, tech for creators out there, whether it's cameras, drones, microphones, gimbals, whatever it is. Basically trying to look and find the best tech for creators that, isn't going to break the bank, and is going to also suit their needs. And we both are drone pilots, actually, too.
Certified. Yeah, certified.
We can make some money, or just have fun.
Fly commercially, legally, which is pretty great. And, Gabe makes really entertaining videos and great comparisons as well. I think, like, my videos are very informative. If you're searching for something, I could be the solution, where Gabe is like, I would actually genuinely watch and subscribe to those videos.
I think you script yours out a lot better, and I kind of just get in front of a camera and just go with it.
Yeah, they're so creative. They have good music. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Definitely check Gabe out.
Or check both of us out.
Absolutely.
Actually. Check Stetson's out. Like, I insist you must. If pause the podcast right now, or you can keep it playing in the background and go to either Digital Tech Reviews and Tips or Stetson. I think we both feature each other on our respective channels, but
you'll find us.
Or not, whatever. You're listening to the podcast. That's all we can ask. Audio is the way of the future, it seems like, for the time being. We're about 5 years behind the trend of starting a podcast, but we're here now, baby. And you can't, don't turn us off, please. Gosh.
It's happening. No.
Yeah, I was bragging way too much. I'm sorry. All right. So let's get in. What is this podcast actually?
Pinch to Zoom is a podcast exploring technology. We're taking deep dives into different segments. Basically, anything with a power button is fair game. What piques our interest, what we feel you listeners should know about. All kinds of technology, from computers to cameras to cars to drones to microphones. Anything that really we find interesting, engaging, smart home tech, personal assistance.
Yeah.
We're taking we're pinching, zooming in on that topic.
It's
And
honestly the name was kind of a random name that we came up with, but it makes a lot of sense.
we also appreciate that one Twitter user
Yeah,
who has the
shout
handle.
out to the user who has Pinch to Zoom right now currently.
The inactive user.
Yes, if that's you, we would love that handle.
Hit us up.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, kind of off topic for a second, but Stetson, just make sure your phone is turned into at least like not airplane mode, but turn off the cellular, because I have heard that does affect recording quality.
Oh my! So airplane mode?
Well, not airplane. Just turn off the cellular data at least, so you're not. I don't know. That's what I've heard on other podcasts.
That's fascinating. I was gonna say put in a do not disturb. You're like, hey, I got my watch on.
I know.
We're not gonna get any pings, but no, that's a good call.
But also, that's probably good. I think all my stuff is silenced. But yeah, no, we're definitely. It's kind of a good blend what we both have, because you look a lot more at, like, I think consumer tech, especially. I mean, very focused on cell phones, but you're very well versed in more computers. You work at the IT shop for our college, and you just seem to know a lot more of that. And you also do focus on a lot of the creative stuff because you are a YouTuber, so you're creating stuff. But I mean, I focus a little more on that sometimes not. I don't know. I think it's a good blend.
I think so. You use your drone way more than I do. You're on the social media team for the college. I think you're doing so many more creative things and have so many more tools. We have the Ronin S in the studio here.
Yeah.
You've got the sliders. You've got the fancy lights. So I really think your opinion
also,
and perspective is good.
$2,000 in debt right now, so no. Yeah.
Maxing out credit cards.
Yeah, right and left, boy. That's how we do, No.
No, I don't know.
That's not how we do. That's that. Imagine if that was like the new rap thing was like just maxing out cards, never paying them off.
Oh God.
I got a credit score of 520, boy. Oh, and then everyone's like, no, that's not cool, dude.
It's really not good for anyone.
Yeah, and would be it would be a great tie-in if we had some sponsor that was like linked to like credit scores or something. But alas, we have no sponsor, so you don't have to sit through any silly ads. That's right, ad free.
Yep. That's how we like it.
We
detest advertisements and are keeping this podcast ad free. If you are an advertiser, please reach out to us. We'd love to have alternate sources of revenue.
It doesn't hurt, or maybe we'll go Patreon and keep it ad free.
I think Patreon. There's a YouTuber, Matt Diavella. Shout out to him. He's the filmer of the Minimalist movie on Netflix, and I have tremendous respect for what he's doing, going ad free, sponsoring his channel with Patreon, putting out very regular, high quality content. It's very cool, taking everything in a new direction.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think down the road we'll see what this podcast grows into or ebbs and dies into. But, I think, down the road, maybe if we get a large enough user base or listener base, we could have people submitting questions even and answering some tech questions.
That'd be really fun. I would like that.
Yeah, that's our goal, is to help people. And I get always tired typing comments in,
Oh my God. Reddit is just bombed with questions,
Yeah.
and you can only answer so many. It's hard, but it's easy to just voice an answer quickly on the fly.
Yeah.
More engaging.
So if you do have any questions, pinchtozoom@gmail.com. I think, is that available?
I didn't get it. Did you get it?
I didn't get it yet, so let's hope it's available. I think it is, or maybe it will be pinched. We'll have it in somewhere in the details of this podcast about what the actual email is by the time we release it. So yeah, let's get on with this show.
Yeah, immediate segue into the 2018 year
really
wrap
smooth.
up, right?
Yeah.
So what we have listed here are the favorite tech items. Gabe, what were your favorite tech items of 2018?
Well, I mean, first off, it's amazing how fast 2018 went by, right? It seems like just yesterday CES 2018 was kicking off. I mean, we're looking forward to 2019 coming up, and I mean, right now we're about 11 days away from it. But when you're listening to this, it will be 2019. 2018 was a crazy year all around for technology. We saw a lot of the same, a lot of different. Personally, I'll start with something that I thought was very much the same, but also very different. The GoPro 7, I was actually just using it to take a photo of us. I thought that they really, if you look at their stock and everything, they'd been not having a lot of successes. Their Karma drone literally fell out of the sky.
They took a nosedive. It wasn't great.
Yeah, great. I mean, I've always been a fan of GoPro, but the GoPro 5 and 6 were really they I don't know. They always had glitches. They just weren't the well-rounded products. The 7 Black especially, they put hyper smooth, they put live streaming, they even put in the vertical mode, which is a tiny thing, but with Instagram stories and Snapchat becoming ever popular, like that's a big thing for users.
I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And you're right, with these new media platforms, YouTube supports vertical video. I could definitely see creators taking this in a new direction, and having that support is awesome.
Yeah. So that's my first one. It's a pretty simple one. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have something similar?
I guess, yeah. On the same line of kind of a classic that isn't really new, but kind of more well-defined, I actually put macOS Mojave on my list for 2018.
Yeah.
So this introduced a lot of fantastic features, stacks, we got dark mode, the dynamic wallpapers, the completely rethought screenshots and screen recording mode that I screen record all the time for my videos, and that has been so helpful.
Yeah, they definitely, like, they're incorporating a lot of features that we've seen in iOS, and a lot of, like, the same, like, UI.
Yeah, really just the interface.
Yeah, exactly.
That's been really fantastic, and they brought in some of the application as well, and use stocks home voice memos. And what Apple, I think, is showing with macOS Mojave is really how integrated they can be. Like, you're an iPhone user, you get a Mac, everything just works so beautifully together. And
yeah, that's the biggest thing that, honestly, you got to pay for. If you're paying for a premium, which you are with Apple products,
100%.
They should be offering something that is, keeping you in their ecosystem and giving you a huge advantage.
Yeah, and it's almost too bad Microsoft stopped making phones. They were like...
It's not too bad.
Okay, so they needed to die, but...
Someone came into Best Buy the other day and said, now don't laugh, but I have a Windows phone, and we all literally laughed.
Everyone just paused, took a moment, chuckled to themselves.
Because it's, yeah, that's a sad story right there. Yeah. But oh well. So that definitely Mac OS Mojave.
They've been building on Mac OS for a while. It's been here, but it really felt like a polished operating system and a very fantastic experience, in my opinion.
I definitely agree. Now the second one is definitely another no surprise here one. I kind of was sticking more with products, but the DJI Mavic 2. Now
I had that as well.
Okay, we both. All right. So, have you flown it yet?
Right. I have not flown it. I have the original Mavic and wanted to upgrade, but I don't have the time to fly.
Eventually, you'll take. We do have our college, Ithaca College, by the way. Shout out. They do have several drones that they have in their drone program that we could fly.
We have the Phantom 4 Pros. We have a fleet of...
Well, we do have the Zooms, the Mavic 2
They got
Zoom.
a Zoom?
Yeah, they have Zoom. I think 2 Mavic 2 Zooms.
That's fantastic.
So get on that when you get back from break. Because definitely, yeah, I own the Mavic 2 Pro. I took it to Iceland. I've been using it for my work, for my just fun time. It is really kind of like the GoPro, but even more of an upgrade, where they really just created an incredibly well-rounded product. Like, the Mavic Air was a great product. Granted, it's for a lot, more consumer friendly, like easier to use, folds up smaller, not as high as specs. And then the Mavic 2 Pro, they just said, why can't we put everything that we did in the Phantom 4 Pro in this smaller, drone? And so they gave it 360 completely all around obstacle avoidance. They gave it, a 1-inch sensor on the Pro, and most importantly, it's one of the first drones. I think the NAFI has over 30 minutes, but to actually have a over 30-minute flight time.
I think it's like 31 minutes, something like that.
31 minutes, I'm pretty sure. And it's getting to the point where it's like you got plenty of time to
Yeah, you're not worried about
Yeah.
coming out of the sky in the middle of a shoot or missing something. You definitely have a good amount of battery. And the 10-bit HDR was really fantastic,
Yeah.
and the hyperlapse features.
Yeah,
And
it's also not even just the hardware, but the software that they added, whether it's Hyperlapse, ActorTrack 2.0, or even, what was it, all the panel modes. Really, they've just,
that is really what sets DJI
Yeah.
apart too. And to quote Casey Neistat on this, it's not which drone to buy, it's which DJI drone to buy.
yeah, and I mean, I definitely agree with that. I hate it because I like there to be some competition in the marketplace and options. Parrot has definitely introduced a couple more drones in the past year that at least make it interesting. But yeah, it's really, and I also hate saying every new drone is like, oh, this is the best and raving about it. But it really does seem like with the Mavic 2, they really knocked it out of the park.
What do you think we'll see with like the Phantom 4 or the Phantom 5? Like, is that a
The Phantom 5 probably coming up. I'm gonna guess probably March. Maybe we'll see it after CES or sometime in February, but yeah, I think they have to hit a higher price point because now the Mavic 2 obviously is, 1200 to 1500.
kind of occupied that space?
Exactly. So they're going to probably have to give some higher spec features, take some stuff from the Inspire line like the interchangeable lenses, and maybe we'll see retractable legs, but I doubt it. They really like the form factor of the Phantom. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to see. But that's already going into our predictions for next year, so
We'll hold off.
Yeah.
I get something you use to control these drones is your smartphone, and that is actually something I put on my list. I'm gonna go with the Pixel 3 is one of my favorite 2018 items. This really stood out to me for the software experience Google is providing with this phone. Their new camera and night sight has just blown other phones out of the water.
Yeah, it's really, with them, it's definitely the software.
Yeah, it's been spectacular. And yeah, I think it was a solid update as well if you kind of accept the notch, if you will. But yeah, that was a really good phone from Google, and it's exciting to see them getting into the phone space and really performing well there.
Yeah, they really have the incredible software. They obviously don't care quite as much about hardware, but I mean, I think honestly, pictures are made with the software, not necessarily the hardware. You could have a 60 megapixel sensor, full frame, and if you don't have aren't processing that image data correctly, you're not gonna get a good picture ultimately.
It's so true.
Yeah. So I think it's more of an honorable mention, and it's kind of a trend that we've seen a little bit of, but like I think the iPhone XR as a lower cost smartphone really is pretty good.
Gabe, you call $750 lower cost?
Okay, yeah. And technically it's 10R too, I know.
Yeah.
But so many people call it the XR.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Do you see that a lot in Best Buy? Like people come in and are like, yeah, I want to see the XR.
That's the problem too. That's why I started calling it, is because so many people call it that I don't want to correct them. So I just keep calling it the XR.
Right, the consumer's right.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But it is definitely lower cost but also not. Yeah, you're right, because
I'm gonna respectfully disagree. Like one of the highlights I actually put was used tech. I was on Swappa this morning, and you can hear these prices out. Gently used iPhone 7 starts at $250 for 32 gigs. Gently used iPhone 8, $440.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Though, I mean, they are starting at I think $600 otherwise, so saving $200 for used.
Yeah, it's up to you if you feel comfortable.
We
with
slightly
used.
disagree on our position on used tech.
I've bought and sold on Swappa. I really like them.
This will probably come up throughout the podcast.
Even an iPhone 10, okay. $675.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, you can't deny that it is a great place, especially with cell phones and buying through some place like Swappa, where you got at least you're not doing like eBay is a little bit sketchy sometimes when it comes to buying phones. You never know what you're quite getting. But yeah, if you want to save money, that's definitely the best way. I do know it is a hard sell to sell people up to the iPhone XR or 10R if they're set on spending iPhone 8 money when they come in.
Yeah.
So yeah, the iPhone 10R isn't cheap, but I do like that Apple at least released a new phone that had very similar specs to the their top of the line model.
And the new design too, like
Yeah, exactly.
that was really great to see.
And didn't stick with the old design, that they completely updated their new line all to the we're gonna embrace the notch. We're gonna go with Face ID. No more home button.
Bring that screen edge to edge. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, what do you got? Do we have any more matching overlapping products?
Probably not. The other things I really liked, I'm going to call out digital well-being from Google.
Okay.
And this was kind of a new trend this year from both Apple and Google with...
Well, really from everyone. I mean,
yeah,
YouTube, Instagram.
Everyone's kind of coming to this idea that, we kind of need to have a healthier relationship with technology and how we use it and how we interact with it. So I really liked what Google did. They give you how much time you spend on Android and what apps you're using. You can schedule reminders to take a break, better do not disturb settings. This is really cool. You take your Google phone, Android phone, you turn it face down automatically in do not disturb.
Yeah, that's pretty handy. And Apple obviously added their own
screen time. You get screen time. It's fascinating. Do you know what yours is?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
I don't want to say.
I think I average 2 hours 41 minutes of usage per day for my phone.
Do you even look at your phone?
That's a lot, isn't it?
Back off. Let's not get judgy. Especially when I'm about to say how much I use. Let's see. Why is it not giving me last 7 days? All right. You want to get a guess?
You just like smirked. We're talking 6 hours 23 minutes.
Okay, please don't. What are you thinking? No. 5 hours 20 minutes. Oh wait, no wait. Hold on, it just updated. Now it's saying 7 hours and 59 minutes a day. That's literally longer than I sleep sometimes.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's down though. However, that was down 8% from last week. So let's just say we're making improvements.
Gabe is on a positive trend.
I'm on a positive trend. One thing I did actually do that has helped is I enabled the time limits on some of the apps. So for me, the biggest ones honestly was Instagram, YouTube, obviously. But come on, what am I?
We're YouTube. Yeah. You're just on YouTube.
No, but I did actually enable it with YouTube. But the biggest ones where I'm not really keeping track of time and, I'll just check it, a little, is really definitely the social media will eat into that, where you go on Instagram and then it's like, 45 minutes later or an hour later, you're like, what did I just...
I mean, even that like uncomfortable pocket pull out, you check something really quick, that those few minutes really just add up.
Yeah. And how many pickups did you have a day? Did you...
Oh man, I'd have to check that.
Yeah. Because I think that's a really interesting stat that they use.
Let me search that up. Screen time. It's good. I can search it. Yeah. Today, let me give me all 7 days. 2 hours, 1 minute per day. Down 17% from last week.
Reduction.
4 hours social networking. 3 hours, 42 minutes productivity. 1 hour, 18 minutes reading and reference. Most used apps, messages, Narwhal, and then like email and stuff. Pickups, 87 pickups per day.
Oh, I got you beat. 98 per day. With a max on Tuesday of 152. What was I doing all day? Just literally picking it up and setting it down. Apparently,
we're surprisingly similar in pickups, considering the usage.
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
What about notifications? Sorry to bring
no, it's fine. Quickly.
I mean, the listeners are probably just completely bored, but compared to your numbers, definitely.
I'd be curious what you guys or gals, what you all have. Yeah. I'm at 625 notifications for the last week, around 89 per day.
See, the big thing is, I have about 195 per day, which is 1,364. The big abuser of this is I have two smart cameras, or they're not actually very smart. They're pretty dumb, actually. But they send me notifications literally for everything, especially since one's in my living room, pointing at the front door. And so whenever I walk through my living room, I'm sending myself a notification.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty pointless. That's, by the way, shout out to Yi Technology. That's who that is. They make decent products for very cheap prices, especially their security cameras. They're not as great as a Nest or something like that. Are you getting a lot of delay in your headphones?
I heard it cut out for a second, but it was like a split second.
I think we're just building up a huge buffer right now, but whatever. We'll just keep going.
We'll keep rolling. I guess two more quick shout outs.
Yeah.
The Gmail update. They added a lot of really great like automatic reply features.
Yeah, the whole UI just.
I love what Google's doing.
That was a big one.
It's gorgeous. You can snooze. You get nudges to reply to stuff. Smart reply, where you can just click a button and it'll autofill. We're basically having robots talking to other robots.
Well, that was what was that? The Google what was their
Duplex?
Duplex, yeah.
That's Duplex.
That will be when that comes out fully, and as much as they demonstrated, that's literally we're gonna have robots talking to robots.
It's so weird to think about. And the last shout out I want to have is the Dyson V10 vacuum cleaner.
Oh.
There was a day about
You're a big fan of Dyson, I know.
I really like their design. There's some debate as to the quality, I would say, of their vacuum cleaners. But 9 months ago, excuse me, they came out with the Dyson V10 vacuum cleaner. And when that day happened, they sponsored so many YouTube channels that my subscription box was barraged with all of these videos about vacuum cleaners.
Dang, that is... Yeah, I was not subscribed to that many channels that did stuff. I did still see one or two. And that's an interesting, approach to marketing. Whenever I take out, surveys online, from DJI or GoPro about, what product, that I recently bought, I always skew the surveys to say that I only learned about it through YouTube tech influencers or stuff like that, or reviews online, because I really want to show that is a way that a lot of people, and that is usually how I hear about this stuff.
Yeah, me too. Some random product will show up in a Linus Tech Tip video, and wow, that's amazing. I wish I had known about this, and then I'll go look into it more.
And I had one more product, kind of, it's more of a trend, or just finally we saw it, but Nikon and Canon finally realizing that mirrorless cameras are the way of the future, at least for part of the photography and videography world, and taking it seriously and finally releasing some decent full frame mirrorless cameras.
Yeah, that was really great to see. I agree with that. Sony definitely needed the competition.
Yeah.
That said, I still think Sony is doing everything better spec wise, price performance ratio.
Yeah, we're both we're both in the Sony right now. We both have Sony cameras and lenses, so we're a little biased, obviously, but I still, Canon would have to do a lot to make me switch.
Yeah,
at this point.
I kind of miss my Canon. I came from a 70D, but man, just getting 4K, being able to crop in, getting the high frame rates, and just the price I paid for my A7 III, they just can't compete with the price performance ratio in my mind, even if some people may prefer the image quality or the experience.
Yeah. I also came from a T4i before I went to the A7S II, and I do kind of miss the Canon, their UI and their menu system.
I love it. I miss it. I miss
it
so much.
A lot better than Sony's, but at the time, and still, it's Sony offers a lot more for the price. So
if you can figure out their menu system.
Yeah, that'll take you about a couple days of getting lost, but you'll eventually get it. So yeah, that was really. There was obviously a ton of other stuff that happened this year in tech. There was also a ton of awkward fails, I think, that happened. I came up with 3 kind of ones that, I don't know. Let's let you go first with this one, because I started off the best in tech for 2018.
Okay.
I bet we have one that's the same. I can guarantee almost.
All right. The one I thought of was air power.
That was my first.
Yep. So
wait, let's save that one.
Okay.
And did you have any other ones or no?
I had another one.
Okay.
The Google Pixel Slate.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is I would call it a cool, interesting device, but at the same time, who is it for? It is a expensive tablet running not Android, but Chrome OS.
Yeah.
So you don't get full desktop applications, and you don't get Android apps, but you kind of do. It's just a weird device. I saw on Twitter, YouTuber I follow, Casey Neistat, got one. He was like, what do I need to know about this? Another great YouTuber, Marquez Brownlee, posted a GIF of Dude Perfect, where they did a home edition, and it's this guy just throwing a trash bag into a garbage can like 30 feet away from his front door to the end of his driveway. And Casey goes, wow, shots fired. And Marquez Brownlee is like, tentative review title.
Yeah.
This ain't it, Chief.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good, but that's not what you buy something like that for, obviously.
Yeah. So, is it going to be a fail? I think if for whatever reason it works for you, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I think the market is just going to be so niche. Like, who is it for, right? I think there's so many other options worth considering that it may not perform as well as Google's hoping.
Yeah, no, I agree. The other two that I had other than AirPower, which we'll circle back to because I think that's probably going to be what we end up deciding as the biggest fail. But the one kind of failed that turned into a win was the DJI Mavic 2 release, actually, because they initially were going to release it in early July, which is great because you get the summer season. That's the northern hemisphere. Most people, that's when they're going to fly. So you get it in that time out to the public, and then, you sell a lot more units. However, they kind of had an issue. I think it was with the gimbal. Not quite sure. They never said, but they had to push it back about a month and a week, I think, or so. And however, they knocked it out of the park. So it's
that was the right call.
It was the right thing to do. And once they released the product, it was an amazing product. So I think that started out as a fail, but they turned it and handled it correctly. The other one I had is kind of definitely more recent, actually. It was actually the Qualcomm Summit that they had in Hawaii, and that was to showcase 5G technology, which, as you know, is coming, whether we like it or not, to the U.S., and hopefully whether we like it, because it will be faster.
For the 5G, the weird thing is I think that the thing for that is the support. So rumors have it right now, the new iPhone for 2019 this year isn't going to support it, and that's fine. Apple was late to the game for 4G as well, but in my opinion, phones we have today are already so good and so capable. I don't foresee people upgrading as frequently as they may have used to. Yeah. And that could actually slow down the rollout. Like not as many people are going to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing an ending, at least for most people. Granted, there's still going to be people who are, willing to pay the money or have the money to easily just throw away to get a phone every year. But I think we're seeing more and more that people, if they can keep a phone 3 years, 4 years, they're going to do that, or even longer.
Especially with these higher price points that we're seeing now.
Yeah, and the good thing is that companies are supporting them a little longer too, especially Apple. They're
phenomenal at that, yeah.
So people are able to use them longer. So will 5G work? I mean, the thing with this, this summit that they had in Hawaii, I think it was like beginning of December, is it was supposed to be able to, they invited all this press out there, supposed to be able to demonstrate what 5G was and like the first consumer tech working on it. But it really just nothing worked. Like the press supposedly wasn't able to get their hands on any of the devices. It was just a horrible mess.
That was just handled poorly. Like that's one of those things. Push it back. Like it's got to work when you invite people, and that's crucial.
Yeah, they basically had like a couple devices sitting there that you could just look at, that were the phones that they would eventually were going to be like released that would have 5G support. But it's really, come on, guys.
That reminds me of Elon Musk's plan with SpaceX to, what is it called, Starlink?
Yeah, I think with all the different satellites.
Yeah, like 11,000 or something satellites to provide affordable internet access across the globe.
They got approval for that, right?
Yeah. So. That's making progress. I want to give another shout out, Google Plus. I think
RIP.
Yeah, I would call it a fail because for the two people that used it, I'm sorry.
I used it. I mean, I mainly just used it to get extra link backs to my videos or blog posts. But yeah, it was Google. Though they have so many successes, they're in the bottom of those successes. The way is paved with the dead carcasses of all the different products that they've rolled out at some point, whether it's like Google Wave or...
Well, I mean, now Hangouts is being phased out. Google Allo is phased out. Like,
I mean, part of me, I think it just shows that they're a good tech company, because that's kind of what you want to do, is you want to be able to, put a bunch of effort and a bunch of, people just jump on an idea and flesh it out, bring it to life. And then if it doesn't work, don't be afraid to just say, no, that didn't work, and kill it.
Yeah, I can respect Google for that. And the biggest thing for me is like how they're going to handle YouTube comments and how that system's going to work. But yeah, RIP to that.
But now
I think it's time to circle back to AirPower.
Yeah, I mean, I when I thought biggest tech fail of the year, it was a no-brainer, I think, right?
It's a little weird because it was announced September 12th, 2017. But
it was announced for 2018.
It was announced to release early 2018.
Yeah.
Since the announcement, it has been 463 days.
Well, that's to when we're recording. To when they're listening to this, it's more than that.
Over 463 days.
Yeah. So you're still counting, adding those days on, basically.
They are experiencing massive problems and delays. This is very unlike Apple, which is why I think this particular item stands out so much.
Yeah, and I don't really get why they're having huge problems, because they are piggybacking off of, the Qi wireless charging standard, which I thought was a great move by them to not create their own proprietary thing. Work with this standard that's already in existence, add some more features to it, and have them incorporate it. But they really, all the time people are coming into Best Buy looking for wireless chargers, and what do we sell them? Samsung wireless chargers.
Yeah. That's a missed opportunity by Apple.
Yeah. Especially where people who buy Apple products usually are so loyal to buy Apple accessories, even if they are at a premium.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like they would have had a demo or something working to some degree when they announced it. Maybe it was manufacturing, maybe it was heating. That's kind of what I heard, but
yeah,
it's just really too bad. I was saving up and holding off on getting a wireless charger for AirPower. I pulled the trigger. I actually put one on my birthday list. I got the Peel wireless charger, which is very, very minimalist, very nice design.
I ended up actually going with the one by Nimble, which is if you're looking for a company that makes tech that's not gonna destroy the environment quite as much.
It's easier on the environment.
Yeah, the one thing, I'm looking at the case right now over there. I haven't unboxed them yet because I'm waiting for some other stuff to get in. But they package them in like nice, just white cardboard. You don't get 5,000 pieces of plastic to throw away, and they're made with recycled plastic as well. The products themselves. So
yeah, if I had known about the Nimble, I probably would have gone with that. I really do like the designs. Yeah. They have USB port on the side of them, so you can charge your watch from the wireless charging pad. They look really nice, and if you need a wireless charger,
Nimble, if you want to sponsor us too.
Yeah, forget AirPower. Look elsewhere, and we recommend Nimble.
Or other brands too. Just AirPower is not in existence, and I would not hold your breath for it. Yeah, at least for the time being. But 2019's coming, so yeah. But speaking of buying stuff, we did actually just pass through Black Friday, which
it's a fun time of year.
Yeah, it's a fun time of year. I also sometimes get a little disgusted by the amount of consumerism, but
on one hand, it's appalling. On the other hand, the deals are so good.
The deals are really good, and we always talk about the fact that more and more, especially I will, and you're doing this too, is just saving up throughout the year. Knowing what you want to purchase for tech, your big purchase for the year, and then just kind of waiting around that time of year to pounce, like a hunter out in the wild.
This is what I did. Last year, 2017 Black Friday, I saw some things I wanted that went on sale, but I wasn't feeling spontaneous. I held off, and then I thought about them all year, and I was like, well, I'm saving up. So I would recommend, if Black Friday is rolling around when you're listening to this, or you have plans for the future, think about the items you want, or browse the sales now and think about what you're going to get this upcoming year. Save up, and then when the deals are out, that's when you get exactly what you have on your list.
Yeah, and I didn't get anything too big. I know in years past I've actually gotten my camera, which was a couple $1,000s, and on those things it depends how much savings you're going to get. Anywhere $300-$400. Sometimes, a lot of times, it will be free accessories from B&H or Amazon or places like that.
Yeah, and you definitely have to weigh in. This Black Friday, B&H had some awesome MacBook deals on the computers. But if you're a student going into college, you kind of need a computer in the summer. So it's not really worth holding off in that situation. And
there are certain things that you just I need this now. If you're going on a trip and you need a camera for the trip, or you're getting hired for a place and you need camera to shoot, then you're gonna need that then.
Sometimes just having it is worth it. But otherwise, like I would highly recommend like make your dream setup, envision it, see what's included, and then when the holidays roll around, when the deals happen, to pull the trigger.
Make sure you have a little extra pocket change sitting ready.
Yeah.
To spend and utilize it.
What do we max out the credit cards? Get ready.
Yeah, sign up for 20 more.
Don't do that.
No,
but
definitely don't.
Yeah, definitely think about what you want. And
the things that I really thought people definitely should save up for. Obviously, we talked about phone cameras, drones, also a little bit. Though it does kind of suck to get a drone in the winter. Where you can't.
Yeah, if you can't use it, I guess I would recommend getting certified. Is that a weird thing to say?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I thought I was just looking at the deals this year, especially that I work at Best Buy. The biggest things I saw deals on was actually phones and smart home products. Phones, you see a lot of, $300 off on an upgrade, from Verizon or AT&T and stuff like that. That's a decent chunk of change off, especially if it's $1,000 phone.
Yeah, all right. I would like to, as someone who's into the phones, slight asterisk to that.
Yeah.
It's typically if you have a newer device, we're getting up to $300.
Yes. Yeah.
And oftentimes it'll be better for you to sell it. So if you have the time...
No, but this was not with trade-in. A lot of these are just $300 off, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Those some really good deals.
Dang.
Yeah.
The ones I typically see are like trade in your old device and you'll get up to a certain amount off. But definitely consider that if you don't have the time to sell, doing a trade-in, great, perfect, saves time.
Quick, yeah.
Yeah, you get a discount. If you do have time to sell, that will often, I think, give you better results.
Usually, yeah. Or just do a quick surge before you sell, to the store or wherever.
Yeah.
And then, the other thing, smart home products are just, they're marked up so much, it's kind of obscene.
We saw Google Home Mini and Amazon Echo Dot.
Yeah.
50% off.
Yeah.
That what?
I mean, you don't see that on many other products. And, well, actually, the Dot that was the second generation Dot. But yeah, they were both of those are $50 products, and they were marked down to $25. You don't see that. I mean, you don't see the iPhone going down to $500. You don't see, a $3,000 camera going down to $1,500. It's really rare, and it's because these products are marked up so much. So especially with smart speakers, I almost would say never buy them unless they're on sale.
Yeah, and honestly, you probably have speakers right now, and they probably work great. You could consider getting one of the cheaper assistants and like plugging that into the speaker, or something. I know you can do that.
But they're always doing, like, Amazon is always doing some sale on their Echoes.
So definitely wait on the smart home tech. Gabe's definitely right on this.
Yeah,
it's marked up. There were great deals on Philips Hue lights.
Yeah, we were figuring out that Hue's, they probably cost around $16 or so, because they sell them to the retailers like Best Buy for, we're figuring with my employee discount, I was guessing probably $32 to $33, somewhere in that range. So yeah, they're marking them up a ton for like the light bulbs I'm talking about for Hue's.
Like the $50 lights.
$50 lights, you start at $50 for the light. And that's what you're paying, but the retailer is paying maybe $30, $33, that range, and then
could even be less, but
could be less, yeah. And then Philips is making them. I mean, I'm saying conservatively $16, $15 because that's about 50%. Usually try to keep it, but it could be even less than that.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. They're super marked up. And you can see this too with like the bundle deals, like where they're including 4 lights and a
switch or whatever. And the bridge all for, you're like, how are they doing that? But it's, they know smart home products are really intriguing to people now, so they know people are going to be buying them, but at the same time, they know that they're a little expensive, so they're going to keep them at the higher price throughout most of the year, but then when they put them on sale, they're going to put them on big sales to try to get people into their ecosystems.
Yeah, they know the enthusiasts will pay the price to get it, enjoy it, and love the product. And the consumers may be more hesitant. It's definitely not something you need. Like, definitely can hold off on it. But for the people who are just getting introduced to the technology, having these deals and having these discounts is one of the great times to jump on them and be introduced into the ecosystem and what these assistants can really do for you. Yeah.
No, it's definitely... I mean, the problem is it's always changing, but we'll see. I would definitely wouldn't hold off just because out of fear that it might change.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess the thing too with like Hue, the light bulbs definitely seem expensive, but the
Yeah.
way I kind of, I guess you could say, justify the cost is these lights are gonna last me like 20 years or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so you're buying for the future.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue actually for speaking of the future, let's talk about what 2019 is going to have in store for us. It's if you're listening to this now, it probably is 2019 or maybe it's 2020 or 2051, you know. How long this is the internet's forever, right? So
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
this is our grandchildren are listening to this. Hello, Milo and Ona. That's
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay, Gabe.
hey guys, how are you doing? No, I don't know.
Okay. What 2019 has in store? Where do you want to start?
I think let's continue from smart home tech. We were already
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Honestly, the biggest thing I see, price drops.
Yeah, I definitely would see that. I also think we're going to see more companies like the Facebook getting into it in weird ways, like the
Man.
Facebook portal.
That is, one of my professors has that, and he's like, "What? Like, what do I do? This is a terrible product."
Yeah, I think it's one of the oddest products, but I think you're going to still see big players, you know, jumping into that field because they know there is a lot of money in there and there's a lot of room for growth. And yeah, there's a lot of people who are kind of like, what's this smart home stuff? So if they can get a product on a shelf, they might get people to buy it.
This might seem weird. I'd love to see more smart integration with like home appliances, like ovens and toasters and things like microwaves. And
Yeah.
Amazon, they even made a microwave for pretty like
$60, right?
yeah, it's like super affordable.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon has their whole other kind of like
They do their own thing.
reasons that
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
stuff, you know, definitely to get people into their system and, you know, subscribing to Prime, buying from Amazon, and collecting a ton of user data. But still, it's a good deal if you're willing to make all those compromises.
It's definitely really cool how the integrations
Yeah.
work and what you can do with smart home tech. And maybe this year, if the prices do drop,
Yeah.
then could be an opportune moment to try it out.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I think speaking of smart, let's go to smartphones. I'm going to start on this because my predictions are probably paling in comparison to what you know about it because you know a lot more about smartphones. But basically all I had thought about for what would be 2019 is obviously any way to ditch the notch, basically is what we're going to see.
Yeah,
I know the new thing that just was released from a couple different companies was the Punch Out, right? Or is that what they're calling it?
this is where you just have that camera like in the
Yeah.
top left-hand corner or something.
We saw, what was it, Huawei and what was it, Xiaomi and Samsung all release cameras. Was it the A8 from Samsung?
Maybe I didn't.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't? Do I know something more than you?
Yeah, I think you do. You like
this
preface
is-
this as like, wow, Stetson knows a lot.
I know. I
think
set you up for failure.
yeah, I think you actually are following this a little closer than I
Yeah.
am. I'm coming out of finals week
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, yeah, true. That definitely.
I can talk to you a lot about instructional design.
That's for the other podcast. But yeah, I think. Would you think we're gonna try to see the notch disappear?
Yeah, so the way the notch is to me is just weird. It's in this weird space where, on one hand, it kind of makes sense, like you want more screen real estate, but it's also weird because it blocks content. That's my least favorite thing about it.
Yeah.
Watching a YouTube video, I full screen it, suddenly I have this notch literally blocking content on the screen. I hate that.
Yeah. Did you see Apple was actually getting sued because on their website the promotional images were always with black at the top, so you couldn't see the notch.
I saw that.
And
That's-
also the screen size, they didn't factor in the notch or the rounded corners too. So
that's ridiculous.
they're actually getting sued for both of those things. Yeah.
I think on their website, if you look, they're pretty particular about how they word it, and they indicate when measured edge to edge.
But it's something about the rounded corners. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Like, it's a great display. Let's not get in a
Yeah.
fuss about it, right?
About
Like,
6 pixels
Yeah.
less. Oh gosh.
it's definitely it's like more than 6, but yeah.
Okay. All right. But
What we're gonna see for iPhone? I just saw some rumors recently about Apple filing for patents to put Touch ID back in the iPhone.
So we're gonna see
underneath
under
the
glass?
Yeah, underneath the glass. And
Wow.
the way the article kind of worded it was a second way of authenticating, adding another layer of
Yeah.
security, and this could be used to store things like passports, really personal or important documents, and then just having that two-factor authentication where you have the facial scan with Face ID, that's staying. I think Apple's committed to that, and having to use your fingerprint.
I've always thought that they should have both. Face ID is great, but there's some situations where it doesn't work. Like right now, actually, I'm talking on my mic, and if I want to go unlock my phone, I have to lean away from the mic so that my phone can see my face clearly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so I really think bringing both would be really awesome, and also especially because our phones control so much of our lives now, and literally when if you go to sign up for a bank account or something like that online, a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, put in your mobile number and we'll send you a text."
Yeah. It's huge. A lot of personal information is on our phones, and Apple, I think in particular, is very conscientious about that, and that would be a cool thing. The one thing I will say from watching the OnePlus 6T review is a fingerprint reader underneath a flat sheet of glass with no tactile feedback might just be one of the worst possible places to put it.
True.
I think on the back, imagine if the Apple logo,
Samsung?
or even like the Pixel. That's just, to me, that is perfect.
Yeah. You were saying make the Apple logo?
Yeah, imagine if that read your
that would be pretty cool.
My finger naturally rests on that thing like all the time.
Yeah, don't do what Samsung does and put it right next to the camera. I think that
was goofy. Did anyone even think about that when they were designing it? Like,
that's just horrible because it feels exactly like the camera. So you're like, how do you know which your finger is on?
Am I getting it? Am I getting it? Why is my camera all smudged?
Yeah, why all the pictures look like they were taken in a fog?
Oh my god, well.
And then also, of course, we have the Samsung completely foldable phone, which
that's just a hard no.
I mean, we're gonna see it. That's there's no debate. We're gonna see something. Whether people are willing to now pay $1,800 for a phone, probably not. Especially since the phone is like basically just a beta test of a concept. It's it's like the iPhone 1 or any first gen product. It's not gonna be good, and especially with this, I think they're just rushing to be the first on market. But I think maybe 3-4 years from now, it might be useful. We'll see.
The hardware is really cool, what they're able to do.
Yeah.
I wonder about the experience. Like, how is that going to be better than using a phone? I love my iPhone SE. And I know there's a lot of people who love the smaller form factor. It's more portable. It's easier to use in one hand. And you're just introducing this huge tablet display, which could be great for media. But then why not get a tablet?
Yeah, really, they've got the hardware, I think, somewhat situated, so it's really going to be both creating the story around the product of what it can be used for, and then also creating the interface, the software, the applications there.
The app sport's going to be a nightmare, too, the poor developers.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
I don't even want to. But, yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else for smartphones?
I mean, we're going to see... I guess with Apple too, Google is leading in the camera and in their algorithms and what they're able to do with that. I think we're going to see Apple kind of try and implement something similar as well.
Yeah, and kind of related to smartphones, I guess the other thing I was thinking for next year is AirPods too.
Yeah, no, I think we'll see those.
The second gen, hopefully, I'm kind of going to the next category, which we had with health and lifestyle. I think we might see... There's been rumors a lot that AirPods might come with some health tracking in them.
That'd be neat. I don't really see a benefit over an Apple Watch or something.
Yeah, I don't know what the logistics are. Is that a better spot to track?
Oh yeah, battery life?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so.
But it's an interesting concept. I know there are already some headphones out there, I'm pretty sure. I think Under Armour has a pair, and there might be another one that do have some health tracking, mainly just heartbeat and stuff like that.
That's weird. The only times I listen to headphones is when I'm sitting down editing.
Yeah, it doesn't really. Well, all right, we're getting a little off topic, but my overall theory for what I think AirPods will be, and I think I've told you about this, Stetson, is that I really think that 5-10 years from now, probably more closer to 10, they're going to want us all wearing headphones, and the AirPods will have gotten to the point where they have a really good battery life, or they're either somehow drawing power wirelessly from our phones, or even powering off our own body's electricity field, and they have passive listening through, so you can wear them when you're just hanging out with people.
I mean, they already kind of do that.
They already do, but I think they'll have somehow made them better. Maybe they even have a hole in the middle, so it somehow lets it go through.
Someone says your name, they recognize that, they pause the music.
Exactly.
That'd be wild.
And yeah, basically you'll just be able to get to the point where you can almost whisper, "Hey Siri," or whatever smart home or smart assistant you have, and it will, instantly be able to recognize it, do what you want and be very accurate. So
I could definitely see that being, we had Google Glass, and
Yeah.
I think just the earpiece experience of that, like being able to listen to an assistant, like asking for directions or
Exactly, yeah.
trying to get information on something. I think just being able to communicate with the assistant, having it in your ear would be a much better experience.
yeah, yeah, definitely. That's, I mean, speaking of assistants in smart home, we kind of already talked about that, but that does affect your lifestyle and your really just everyday.
Yeah.
So do you think we'll be seeing, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but do you think you're going to be seeing stuff for the home that's going to change people's everyday life coming out next year that's really new products?
I'm unsure. The thing that I think about is like with Philips Hue,
Yeah.
and you can integrate this with an app called Sleep Cycle and
Yeah.
get like a beautiful, nice, warm sunrise experience in your room.
Yeah.
And Apple recently released the Bedit Sleep Tracker. I don't know if you had a chance to look
I
at that.
haven't looked at that.
It is a thin pad, a little bit longer than a ruler, maybe like 15 inches, I think, and maybe a couple inches wide. Super thin, goes underneath the mattress, tracks things like heart rate and a lot of other weird, I guess, biological statistics that I
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily think a pad would be able to track, but it does.
Wow.
So in terms of 2019, I could see more companies taking a focus on health, fitness, and tracking, and putting that into the
And
forefront.
how it really relates to technology. I mean, with more stuff like screen time or, just digital health in general.
And like how you can use this data to provide meaningful feedback.
Yeah, because that's technology is all about, collecting data or data. What do you say, data?
Data.
Yeah, I usually say, I don't know what I say.
Are you a data
I
person?
say data. I'm like data head, I don't know. I'll switch to data for now, just so it's, we have a little bit.
Appease the listeners.
Exactly. But yeah, it's all about collecting data. And so I think really it's how you use that. And so hopefully, we've been collecting data for about, the early 2000s, as long as there's been, the internet and really any digital technology. And now if they can actually do some cool stuff for the users with that data, that'd be
marvelous.
Yeah.
But, home tech can be kind of boring. Segue into the boring company. I think we're going to see huge revolutions in transportation in 2019.
Yeah. And also maybe another flamethrower. Yes.
You mean not a
Not
flamethrower?
a flamethrower.
It would be also not a flamethrower. That's what they
Yes.
call it.
Also, the next thing is they have is not a gun.
Oh, that's okay. That's a little,
I think
that's
no,
a little far.
They're not going to do that.
No.
All right, not a tank. But
Not a car?
secretly a tank. Yeah, what if they have not a car? Whoa, Tesla, their new.
Not a phone?
Yeah. Their marketing campaign with the Boring Company is awesome.
I love it.
Kind of, obviously, they're basically Tesla, except for they're not. But I really think we're going to see a lot more electric cars coming out next year.
Yeah, and what Tesla has done is built such a strong charging network, and they've collected a lot of data. So I think you're right. We'll see other manufacturers coming out with cars, starting to reimagine or build out infrastructure in 2019.
Yeah, I think that is definitely what we're going to see, because we've really, at this end of this year, I think 2018 was a proving point for Tesla. Like this was their, if they didn't stand their ground this year and didn't deliver,
didn't survive Model 3 production hell.
If we weren't seeing them, alive right now, they would not be making it any further. I think this was really both just as like their supporters. If they didn't deliver on time, they'd start losing people supporting them, but also their critics would be very critical and be like, "Ha, I told you so."
Yeah, they're already pretty intense about it.
They are, but you see a lot of the shorts, the big short sellers have said that they're giving up their positions because they're no longer really sustainable or going to make them any money, because Tesla has definitely put their foot down. So yeah, you're going to see big automakers, I think, definitely pivoting to kind of just be more agile and kind of copy Tesla.
I think we might see some electric automobiles at CES, and this happened with the Faraday Future, a couple years ago. That fizzled out pretty quickly.
Yeah, that is. I mean, we'll get to CES in a second, and that will hopefully be what our second podcast is kind of about. But you looked at what, like, Chevy recently laid off 15,000 people, which is a horrible thing, but the main reason they're doing it is so that they can be more able to, jump on trends quickly, oh, this is the car we need to make, let's make that. Oh, this is the way we're going to make batteries now, let's do that.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of ridiculous these established car manufacturers haven't been pushing and innovating. Like, they've been resting on their laurels. They've been doing what works, haven't really been changing things. Like, the car experience, how you interact, use the knobs and dials and UI, it's all terrible. And
well, okay, let's not just throw the baby out with the bathwater. But, I definitely think there is something to knobs in cars, because like, especially while you're driving, looking at a touchscreen where you don't get really any feedback and know what you're touching is pretty hard. So it's nice to have a knob that I can keep my eye on the road and reach down here and know that I'm adjusting my lights. Or whatever.
So it's not necessarily the knobs. It's just that the experience they're creating.
Don't come for my knobs. You better watch yourself.
My friend has a super old BMW, and when he puts the thing in reverse, the rear view mirror automatically, or the side mirrors tilt down.
Yeah.
My car doesn't do that.
Yeah, that is, or like when lights turn into corners. When you're going around a corner, the headlights will actually rotate, so they point into the corner where you're looking to see if you're gonna hit a car or something, right?
Yeah, just cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
And even something as simple as like putting all the windows up and down. Like my mom's Subaru Impreza. I have to do it one window at a time.
Yeah, I do too. So
yeah, we need to fix that.
That's like the putting your pants on one leg at a time, like everyone else. I put my windows up one window at a time, like everyone else. That's the new saying for car drivers. But yeah, transportation is a really exciting thing, and CES has turned more and more into focusing on a lot of auto tech.
It's true. And we touched on this a little bit earlier, but what do you think we're going to see with the Phantom 5? Like,
the Phantom 5, yeah, I think it's going to be obviously very, very much anticipated and hyped up. This is the product that built DJI was the Phantom, starting all the way back at the Phantom 1. And the Phantom 4 Pro has now been around for 2 years, I think.
That long?
Or no, they released the Pro. It's about a year and a half. It's been a while.
Long. Yeah, wow.
I think the Phantom 4 is officially 2 years old. No, it's actually more. I think the Phantom 4 Pro has been 2 years, because it was November 2016.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, it's still an incredible product, but the problem with now is they have the Mavic 2 Pro.
Yeah, it's just not like Mavic.
Really does a lot of the same, smaller size, and a lot more capable.
Otherwise, you consider like the Inspire probably, or something like that.
So I think with drones, we'll see, obviously, the Phantom is going to kick off the year with a bang. And my other hope is that we will see other companies getting into the space. I'm hoping Parrot, at one point, I think in the early, or like the mid, 15, 16s, they were saying they were going to actually get out of consumer drones. And they were pivoting to more like industrial stuff. But we've seen this last year with the Anafi and what's the other one that starts with an M?
No, I can't help you.
Well, the other one. It's the smaller little brother to the Anafi. They've released 2 consumer drones that, replace the Bebop essentially, and are, fairly competitive. Granted, they're not better than the Mavic Pro.
They're competitive. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
They're just competitive. Do you think the Phantom 5 is going to have the zoom lens or the CMOS sensor from
Well, I think,
Hasselblad?
I think we'll probably see Hasselblad sensor or maybe lens setup, because I know that they've been getting a lot of positive feedback just by putting that branding on there. And there was a reason that they bought majority stake in Hasselblad. And it wasn't just because they had just some change sitting around, just said, let's just chuck this cheddar over there.
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely see interchangeable lenses. That's almost a given.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'm guessing that to kit out a full, like a DJI Phantom 5, you're going to be spending upwards of $3,000.
I agree with that.
And that's a very conservative estimate, because if you figure $2,000 for a drone with a battery and like the lens that comes with it, right? Then you figure, all right, batteries $150 a pop. There's 2 more. That's $2,300. Then lenses are probably going to be like $300 to $400 a pop, because it's going to be their own proprietary system most likely.
Classic DJI.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's not much other options out there for light lenses that fit on that size, but yeah. Obviously, they're taking a page from Apple's book. And then, of course, cases and other stuff. Yeah, it's going to be $3,000 at least.
It'll be exciting, regardless of what it is and when it comes out.
Well, it's exciting because they have to top the Mavic 2 Pro.
That's
So
true.
whatever
it has
that
to be
does,
better. Yeah.
it has to be better because they have to get people to pay some money for it.
Do you have any predictions for computers?
Yeah, we're not gonna see any more computers.
Yeah, that's it. So there you have it. You heard it here
Yeah.
first. Computers
RIP.
are dead.
Yeah.
I guess on a similar note, maybe computers aren't dead, but maybe non-touchscreen computers are dead. So I was lucky enough to get the iPad Pro, and after using that for a good amount of time, I feel that macOS needs a touchscreen. Like it feels so intuitive interacting with my iPad, and then I sat down at my Mac. I was literally using my iPad, sat down on my Mac, and I touched the screen.
But you wouldn't want macOS to be scrapped in order for them to, put iOS on a Mac.
So I don't know what's gonna happen. I would either love to see a revamped Pad OS that brings macOS like desktop applications, keyboard, mouse support to iPad, or I would love to see macOS like find a way to integrate touch functionality. I really do like that, and maybe it's a bad idea. Maybe Apple won't do it. They still have the best trackpads in the game, and they have that going for them. But either way, I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing when you bring up kind of merging, mobile interface with a desktop operating system, I have horrid flashbacks to, Windows 8.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, and so I think, Apple obviously, they tend to do stuff a little more thoughtfully and, think things through. So if they do that, obviously we've been slowly seeing iOS and Mac OS merge together. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe release something that bridges the gap. But also, I think they're going to be focusing more on their professional lineup too. We know they have the new Mac Pros coming out.
Oh, those are going to be amazing.
Replacing the trash cans, throwing them in the trash.
Yeah. They'll fit great.
Yeah. You wouldn't know, is that the trash can or is that like...
We're just taking out the trash can.
Yeah.
All right, we're throwing the cans out this week, everybody.
Yeah.
Everything, it's gone now.
Yeah. So you will definitely see... we saw the MacBook Pros this year.
They were awesome.
They're pretty awesome. I have the new 15-inch, and it's... granted, I was upgrading from a 2013, so anything was better. But
I'm jealous.
Yeah. So I think they'll bring some good stuff for the pros, because they've been definitely hearing a lot of complaining. They brought the iMac Pro last year, dream computer.
That's great. The only downside is you can't upgrade it, but
Yeah.
The thing performs. It's a beast.
Yeah. So that's that's mainly like Mac and Apple. I think. What about?
I don't know
Windows?
anything. Like Windows is fine, I guess. I don't know where to go
Can
with
you
it.
Can you tell that we don't use Windows computers?
There's nothing wrong with Windows.
Yeah.
I just love Mac passionately.
Yeah, there is definitely a place for Windows, obviously, because they're still around. They're a lot cheaper, a lot more affordable, especially if you don't need that whole creative side. I know most of my friends in college who aren't, in a communications major or like music, tend to just go with a Windows computer because it works better with Excel and all the different applications they're going to use, but also it's a lot more affordable. So
significantly, you have to consider like Apple refurbished or even buying used to even get close to the price points that
especially
Microsoft
now that
is
they don't
offering.
have the MacBook Air at $800.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but the new one does look really nice. I do. Really
It looks
like
nice, but Apple, come on.
Yeah, but then also like just go MacBook Pro at that point.
Yeah, it really they haven't found where they should put that, but
Okay.
yeah. So that's really, that's all of our predictions. We'll see if they come true, and we'll start seeing them come true as soon as CES kicks off in 2019, which, as I was saying, will hopefully be our next episode. We'll be kind of wrapping that up. So, our schedule we're looking at is hopefully going to be, bi-weekly. We don't want to set anything too ambitious. We kind of want to just be able to hit it right. We might release surprise bonus episodes, I'm thinking, if there's any big notable news to cover. But we're trying to maybe not be so much news-based and more be, little stuff that could be a little more timeless, possibly.
Yeah, discussion based.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully you don't mind hanging out with us and don't completely
Gabe, they hate
despise
us.
the sound of our voices. Like if I talk like
Okay,
this.
nope.
Oh
All right,
god,
I'm
we just
out.
lost all of our one listeners. Oh no. But yeah, we appreciate you guys listening, and obviously, if you found this podcast, you know where to find it. We don't really even know where it will be at the moment, but we're hoping to, get it all the major podcasts.
And we will
places.
get Pinch to Zoom, the handles.
We will mark our words. Pinch to Zoom, you will be ours. We have all of our greatest hackers coming at you. And yeah, no, please, if you know that person or if that's you, just come on, do us a solid, give us the handle Pinch to Zoom on Twitter, and we will be forever in your debt.
And don't take the Gmail. We haven't actually gotten that yet.
But we'll hopefully have gotten it by now.
We have it now.
Imagine if this leaked, and someone takes it. Oh no! But yeah, that's pretty much it. The first episode is behind us now.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to the first episode of Pinch to Zoom.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be hard to fill up. Like, we were aiming for 30 minutes, and I think we're at, like, over an hour now. So.
Yeah, I think we're right. So, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
I'm Stetson.
I'm Gabe.
And this has been episode 1 of Pinch to Zoom, a look at the past and predictions into the future.
Was that the title of the episode? Or?
Gabe, we didn't title it. We just sat down and had a conversation.
Okay, well, I think we're going to have to use that as the title.
Fantastic.
All right. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.